Hey everybody, we're here talking about hexagonal thinking today, which is a great way to prepare your brain for a discussion or for writing or both. And I have off to the side of our slide here terms that come from the novel The Giver, which I'm pretty sure most of you have read. And the prompt for our thinking today is determine possible themes in The Giver. So I'm going to begin by dragging terms into the hexagons and starting to kind of build a connection, a web of connection as I go. What you might want to do to start is just sort of pull some of these off to the side so they're not in your way. Give yourself a little bit more room to get started, understanding that eventually these things will go back to where you want them. And so let me just start with orange, one of my favorite colors. And I'm going to go towards a term that I tend to have maybe strong feelings about. And for me, one of those would be human rights, which I know is pretty important in the story. And I'm wondering, okay, what sorts of other terms here connect up to human rights? Well, I have a lot of different ways to go because a hexagon has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 sides. So I have up to 6 ways to make connections. One way, probably I could argue, is to say, oops, hello, come with me, genetic science. There's a lot of debate over what genetic scientists should be allowed to do and what they shouldn't be allowed to do. And it does tie into basic human rights. For example, in the book, I remember that the genetic scientists were trying to get rid of red hair. I don't know why. I think red hair is beautiful. But they've decided that it's not okay. Also, they want everyone to see in black and white, which, has to do with color. I'm going to make another connection there. And color, gosh, if I wanted to think about it in a different way, also has to do with human rights and whether or not people who are different are treated as equals, regardless of their race and background. So already I'm starting to see some things that I find are connecting up. So I think that my arrow here, now that I think about it, it has a transparent background. I want to fill it. I think I just want to, oh, no, it's white. Okay. So that's fine. I'm going to show that I've got a connection here between these two things, and I'm just going to call that connection 1. And then what I'm going to do with that later is on my next page, here I've got a box 2, and I can label these however I want. Explain the connections that I've made, keeping in mind that my prompt is determine possible themes in The Giver. So I want to ask myself, all right, if I'm connecting human rights and genetic science, how does that tie into a theme for me? What is Lois Lowry telling us and telling us about what we should think about this? Maybe that it's a human right to have typical vision. I don't know, that's too specific. I've got to think that through before I start to do this. But luckily, I know that we're going to have a conversation in class, and I think that that's going to help me clarify my thinking. So while my assignment is to prepare my connections here and think them through ahead of the conversation, I will also have an opportunity to go back and make some changes after I've been able to run my ideas by other people, and that should help clarify my thinking. So what's cool about hexagonal thinking is that probably 2 people in a group or 3 people in a group aren't necessarily going to connect things in exactly the same way. And you'll be able to help to work together to make your thinking clear to one another and generate some interesting ideas about the topic. Thanks. Good luck, and let me know if you have any questions.